And I also intentionally wanted a football team and a basketball team to cheer for, because to me that was part of what I wanted for my college experience. So that would mean I didn't apply to the liberal arts schools, didn't apply to Pomona, I didn't apply to Occidental or Williams or Amherst, because I wanted a big school experience, right? Some students would rather have a small school experience, where you have, instead of being taught by graduate students, like me teaching my students at UCLA, they want to be taught by their professors, only professors. They want small class sizes. So I went to Berkeley. My first class was Chemistry 1A, right, because I was supposed to be a doctor. 500 students in the lecture hall. If I got hit by a car the next day, the professor would have no idea, right? No idea I was dead. My sister went to Vassar, which is a small liberal arts college in New York. Her biggest class size in all 4 years of school was 22. 22 students with the biggest class size at the Vassar, right? So vastly different. Also, no graduate students at Vassar. That's one of the definitions of a college, is there's no graduate students. So all her work was graded by professors, not graduate student instructors like me. Okay? So very different kind of experiences. Where do you want to live for the next 4 or 5 years? Oftentimes where you go to college also is where you get your first job, right? School spirit. If you are not a school spirit type of person, do not go to Duke. Do not go to USC, right? If you don't like basketball, you'll have a very hard time at Duke, right? Because every Duke student is crazy about Duke basketball. They have tent camps, where students camp out before the basketball games. So if that drives you crazy, don't go to Duke, because that'll be 4 years of people cheering for Duke basketball and you just being miserable. Right? So USC, I don't know any Trojan who's not super proud of being a Trojan. So if you do have a lot of school spirit, those are good schools for you. If you hate school spirit, then don't go to those schools. Right? College or university, again, university has graduate students, colleges do not. How does this impact you as an undergraduate? Well, think about this. A school like Tufts University in Boston, the only graduate program is for international relations. All the other departments, no graduate students. So if you are the kind of college student who wants to do undergraduate research, you want to help professors with research projects in psychology or science or economics or whatever, then because there are no graduate students, those professors will go to the undergraduates, the college students, to recruit them to be research assistants. You know what I mean? So at UC Berkeley, shoot, there's thousands of graduate students. Why go to an undergraduate if you can have a more experienced and smarter graduate student helping you in the lab? Right? But for colleges, there are no graduate students, so professors choose undergrads to help them. Right? More opportunities for you if you are at a college versus a university and you want to do undergraduate research. Are you these super nerdy intellectual type? This is just my way of saying, think about the campus culture, right? So if you're the kind of student who likes to talk about Proust at lunchtime, then Swarthmore or Reed College in Oregon, where the school where Steve Jobs dropped out of, right? These are at Reed College. 75% of Reed College graduates go on to get PhDs. That is a super, and I'm a nerd too, so I'm not saying it's disparaging here. I say it with pride. If you like to nerd out, then Reed College, Swarthmore College, those are, that's the campus culture there, right? And then finally, let's talk about, should I think about liberal arts colleges? So, well, I'm sorry, we'll talk about that in the next section. So I think you should have 3 tiers to your college list. When you sit down with your elite counselors to make your college list, I think you should have 3 tiers: reach, likely, and very likely. I don't call them safety schools. I think that's a demeaning term. Reach, likely, and very likely. 3 or 4 reach schools. How do you know it's a reach school? Well, you are around the 50th percentile or lower for GPA test scores. Notice that for the Ivy League schools, that's basically every high school student, right? It's almost every high school student is 50th percentile or lower on the GPA test scores for those super selective schools. 4 then you should have 4 or 5 likely schools, where you are like 75th percentile on the academic profile for those schools. And then you should have at least 2 or 3 very likely schools, and the very likely schools mean your top 10% of the application pool, and therefore you stand a very good chance of being offered some kind of merit scholarship. Some kind of scholarship to entice you to come to their school. Right? So I think every student should have a couple of those, where your top 10%, right? They might not be as high on the rankings list, but they're offering you a ton of money, maybe even a full scholarship if you're lucky, and college is free. Okay? So reach likely, very likely. Also, why not one wild card school? Shoot the moon, right? Go for broke school, but just one. So for many students, that's Stanford, the hardest school to get into. Like I've always wanted to see if I can get in. That's a perfectly good reason to apply. Right? I think it's better to know you were rejected from Stanford than to learn for the rest of your life what would have happened if I had applied. Right? So I think the certainty of a rejection is better than the uncertainty of, as an adult, looking back saying, I wish I had applied when I could have. But just one. Only one wild card, shoot the moon school, then the rest should be like this. Okay? All right. What is a liberal arts college? So I bring this up because, well, if we were in New England, or if we were in the Mid-Atlantic, New York, Pennsylvania, or if we were in the Midwest, this would not even be a topic of discussion because everyone already applies to these kinds of schools in those areas of the United States. It's only outside of those areas that I have to explain what a liberal arts college is. The first thing to note is that they're small. Pomona College, I think Pomona College on the far right. So UCLA's freshman class size is, I think, 5,300 or thereabouts. 5,300 freshmen. Pomona's freshman class is 260. Okay, so much smaller experience. Smaller class sizes means more individualized attention from the professor. Also, the professor's mission is to teach, not conduct research. The professors at UC Berkeley are very bright. I'll show my Berkeley pride. The most Nobel laureates teaching on the faculty than any other U.S. university, right? But they're there to get Nobel Prizes and conduct groundbreaking research in science and social sciences and humanities, to write books, to publish papers. They will teach undergraduates because they have to. Some of them like to, some of them genuinely enjoy teaching, but their reason for being hired by a research university is to conduct research, to write books and articles. That's not the case with professors at liberal arts colleges like Amherst or Williams or Middlebury. Their job is to teach students. And that leads to a very different kind of educational experience. There are no graduate students, so all your work is assessed by your professors. Why is this important? Well, if you plan on applying to graduate school, either medical school, dental school, business school, law school, nursing, PhD programs, then you will need to get letters of recommendation from your professors in college. It is very difficult to get to know your professor at a large university like UC Berkeley or UCLA. It's not impossible, it's just very difficult. And I learned this the hard way when I decided to apply to graduate school, and I went to one of my Berkeley professors. I got an A in his class, right? The philosophy of language. It was a hard class. I got an A in his class, and I went to him and said, Professor Neal, may I get a letter of recommendation? I'm applying to graduate schools. And he's like, who are you? Like, I don't even know who you are. I said, but I got an A in your class. And he's like, yeah, but the graduate student gave you that grade. I didn't give you that grade. The graduate student graded your papers, right? My graduate student instructors did that, not me. I have no idea who you are. So what I should have done was gone his office hours every week, built a personal relationship with him, and therefore paved the way for a letter of recognition later. I didn't do that, so I couldn't get a letter from him. It was much more difficult to get a letter of recognition from a professor at a big school versus a small school where, again, 22 students in the class. The professor knows my sister, if she didn't go to class, the professor would call her and say, is everything okay? Right? I mean, these liberal arts colleges are conducive to fostering strong relationships between professors and students. Strong academic relationships between professors and students. Also, the emphasis at a liberal arts college is in improving a student's critical thinking, reading, and writing, which are skills that are applicable to any academic field of study. So you might think that, well, if I want to go to medical school, I shouldn't go to a liberal arts college because the emphasis is on artsy-fartsy stuff or just like reading and writing. That's not true. Claremont McKenna, 1 year in Southern California, and this happens more than just once, but 1 year, 100% of their seniors who applied to medical school were accepted to medical school. Right? 100% acceptance rate to medical school from Claremont McKenna College because they were taught to read, think, and write very critically. They did very well on the science, on their MCATs. The science curriculum was rigorous, right? So these are not like flaky, artsy-fartsy kinds of schools. These are rigorous academic programs. So therefore, they're excellent preparation for graduate school, and because they're so small, yet provide such a good education, such a strong education, their acceptance rates are like in the teens. Pomona College, 10% acceptance rate this year. That's like an Ivy League school. It's that hard to get in. But in my mind, they're just as good as an Ivy League school. Ivy League colleges are bigger than these schools. These are actually to get more personalized attention from your professors at Swarthmore than you will the professors at Harvard. Okay. So another, I don't know, tell me if you have this if this is a perception among parents and students in Canada. Like, if you're Asian, it's hard to get into college. Is that right? In America, this is a very hot topic right now. Well, I'm a middle-class Asian kid. It's going to be harder for me to get into a selective school because I'm Asian, because they got it out for the Asians. There's a quota. They don't want to get too many Asians. So look, in the first place, the UC schools do not use race or ethnicity in their admissions decisions because of a law passed back in 1996, Proposition 209, forbids the use of race and ethnicity in consideration for admission to the UC system. So let's say you are an Asian student applying, that does not factor in. It does not factor in. In fact, if there is a goal to keep the number of Asians down in the UC system, they're doing a terrible job. Because UC Irvine is like 50% Asian, right? So, UC system, no penalty for being Asian. What about private schools? Now, there's a lot of schools that are, I would say, how do I say this? It's not that they hate Asians, it's that they hate everyone. Like Yale doesn't just hate Asian applicants. It also hates white applicants, black applicants, Latino applicants, every kind of applicant because it's a super selective program. Now, it is true that you don't get like affirmative action for being Asian when you're applying to Yale. But it's also true that, well, let's talk about Harvard. In the United States, Asians make up 6% of the population, but they're 25% of the students at Harvard. Okay? So Asians are overrepresented at Harvard. And again, there's no sort of extra love you get for being Asian, right? At these schools, these are all small liberal arts colleges, you do get extra love for being Asian. At these schools, Asians are considered underrepresented ethnic minorities. So you get extra metaphorical points, or you get an extra load on these applications for being an underrepresented ethnic minority at some very selective, very well-regarded schools, like Tufts, right? Like Amherst, all of these schools, okay? So, expand your college list to include liberal arts colleges as well. So let's end with a very kind of basic college admissions calendar. Here's the thing. Again, there's no one magical experience, high school experience, that makes you more eligible for highly selective American colleges. So what you should be doing depends on your particular circumstances. In other words, talk to your elite counselors and get their advice on how to plan your high school years, because it's going to be different for everyone. Right? But here's like some general advice. In 9th grade, you should get good grades, right? Put yourself on the high school honors track starting in 9th grade. And you do that by doing well in your 9th grade classes. Find your co-curriculars, find your community service, and stick with it. Colleges prefer that you stick with the same handful of activities year after year versus doing one thing one year, something else another year, and then something else another year. So in 9th grade, your job is to find your people, find your tribe, find the students that you would like to hang out with, that are doing things that you think are cool, and stick with those activities through your high school career. Okay? Sometimes you'll find it in 10th grade, that's fine, but just try to find it early, 9th or 10th grade, so that you can have consistency in the activities that you do. And remember my advice as well, you don't need to do 20 things, right? Pick a couple of things and really excel at that couple of things, okay? Develop good study habits. You'll absolutely need this throughout high school and college. Read a lot. There is one thing that all the students that do well in college, there's one thing they have in common. They all read a ton. They all read, not just because teachers make them read, they also read for their own information and their own edification and their own enjoyment. So read a lot. And then find a summer program, a job or internship in 9th grade, after 9th grade, if you can. Do something cool in the summer. Do something important in the summer that's not just like, going to the mall, 10th grade, get good grades. Continue with those co-curricular and community service opportunities. Take the subject tests if applicable. So for example, if you're taking AP World History in 10th grade, definitely take the corresponding subject test for World History, because the AP exams are more difficult than the subject tests. And so if you're prepared for a good score on the AP World History test, you ought to be automatically prepared for a good score on the easier and shorter subject test in World History. Start taking AP honors classes if you haven't already, and if you can, read a lot. The summer after 10th grade is the best time for SAT or HT classes. Absolutely the best time. Here's why. Remember what I said also, grades are more important than test scores. So when school's in session, it's really good if you can focus on your schoolwork and your activities instead of having to do the test prep classes also after school or on the weekends. Okay, so if you can do your test prep in the summer when you don't have regular school to worry about, that's better. However, if you do that the summer before senior year, that's too late. Because if you take the test in August or October and you don't like your score as a senior, there's not a whole lot of time to study some more and try to get that score higher before the college applications are due. So that's why the summer before senior year is too late, making the summer before junior year the ideal time for test preparation classes. Read a lot. Again, so here's the rule that I give to my kids, my two boys, which they never follow, but I give it to them anyway. One book a month in addition to your schoolwork. So whatever you're reading for school doesn't count. Get a book from the library, read it in a month, one book a month in addition to your schoolwork. Okay? And summer programs, jobs, or internships if there's time. The summer after 10th grade, the focus should be the test prep classes, and if there's time, internships and other opportunities. 11th grade, the busiest year, get good grades, take the ST or ACT early in junior year, August or October or September. Take the subject test if applicable. Again, if you're taking an AP class or an IB higher level class, and there's a corresponding subject test, go ahead and take it. Continue with your co-curriculars and community service opportunities. Continue taking AP and honors classes if you haven't already. If you can, read a lot. Summer program jobs and internships, and then college tours and representative visits. It's a lot, right? And that's why junior year is the busiest for everybody. Okay? So, now we have time for some questions. If people would like to ask questions, and I have a request, and that is